The Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, well, that's a good move because people are tired of Trump jokes. You know, it's one of those subjects that people are like, enough already.
Man, I've been tired of them, and now I'm like,
they're coming back around.
For them to come, to be frustrated when a dude is on his way out. You know, it doesn't make no sense. It's like he is still getting to you. You know, it's just a matter of time. If you want to say the voice of the peoples was heard, it was a close situation, but it is what it is, and he's gone. Why are you still mad?
People have some legitimate gripes, and I understand where they're coming from. But my perspective is it's not changing anything, and it's not doing you any good to still be holding on. If you are anti-Trump, Biden's. I mean, I don't think it's 99% official, right? I mean, they just haven't said it yet, and when they say it, then he will become president, and then Kamala Harris will be the new vice president. So concentrate on good things now. It's over.
Right.
But people are so obsessed.
I heard them fuckers the other day. I might have said this earlier. Look at Mike Pence and them having a meeting with no mask. Man, okay. Why you still keep getting mad because this motherfucker don't have a mask on? It's got to be something else to talk about, son.
But they want to talk about negative things. That's the thing. Some people get addicted to talking about negative things, and they can't regroup even after a victory and now focus on positive things. They want to continue to focus on negative things. And I can see their perspective too, especially with all these crazy tweets like, I won that election, you know, it's all fraud, it's all this, it's all that. Like, man, if you've got some real claims, now I don't know what the claims are, I haven't really honestly investigated them, but if you've got some real claims, you got to present the evidence, and then once you present the evidence, you say all the stuff like, I got robbed, I really won it. If you want to be in a position where you're respected,
right.
If you're the president of the United States, this isn't a regular guy. It's not like if you were involved in some ridiculous, like, small neighborhood election and you were joking around on Twitter, I won that fucking election.
Right.
That's to be expected. But when someone's in a position where they're in charge of the nuclear football, they literally are the commander-in-chief of the greatest army the world's ever known.
And they're firing motherfuckers.
And you're saying shit like that and firing people that don't agree with it.
Yo, fire motherfuckers that, like, I know these other places, like, boy, this would be a great time for a fucking terrorist attack right now.
Well, one of the guys he fired, what the guy said was he didn't believe there was widespread voter fraud. He's like, you're fired. If you don't believe that, you're fired. Like, this is like a madman.
The interesting part for me is, like, you trying to switch the thoughts of a person that is a huge Trump fan is a waste of time. The only thing you're going to be is frustrated.
See, here's the thing, though. I don't know, and this is where it's really important. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly how the election went down in terms of, like, was there like 0.01% fraud? Was there 0.5% fraud? How much fraud was there? We gotta assume that when there's people counting stuff, there's some fuckery going on.
Yeah, but the fuckery that's been reported, it's been like still no more than like 40 people, bro.
And then the only other problem is that it's all done through these machines, right? And then there's been all these conspiracy theories about machines that were supposed to have been giving the votes to Trump, gave those votes to Biden. Now, I could repeat those things, but I don't know if they're true.
But what I do know is...
You know what I'm saying?
I do know is, but I know Georgia, I know them motherfuckers pulled all them envelopes up to the building, and they cut them open, and they took them hand by hand.
They did them hand by hand.
Yo, those ones that were recounts or whatever... Those, you can't, it's no machine there. It's hand by hand.
Right.
It's fucking probably.
And how does that work? Does someone watch while they do it? Like, do they have a supervisor? Because I would imagine you would want to have like almost like two people watch while one person does it, which is so ridiculous. But it seems like you kind of, if you don't trust people.
I know, if you don't trust people.
You kind of have to have someone watching it. That's part of the argument that Trump's administration was saying too, was that there were certain counts that they weren't allowed to observe. They had to be really far away and they couldn't actually see. Listen,
that sounds like people that like soybeans, son.
But
that's a very soybeanish. That's a very soy boy attitude.
But what if they're telling the truth? Here's the thing. I don't know, and you don't know either. So if they were telling the truth and people were counting votes incorrectly or...
They find no evidence of that. Every time that
I don't think they have either.
Every time that they came out with all these losses and they're dropping them because there's no evidence of it. He's probably made... He's had to have made every argument he can make.
No, listen, I agree with you. There's no evidence that they can present that's going to show people right now that there was so much voter fraud that they got to return everything and start all over, or they got to give it to Trump. Like, I agree with you. I think this is what all these experts are saying. They're all saying that even if there was voter fraud, it wasn't enough to tilt the election one way or another. But I don't know how these machines work. So if I'm even commenting on it, if I'm saying they couldn't have done it, that's ridiculous. If I'm saying they must have done it, that's just as ridiculous. I really don't know. That's like, when you're talking about voting, you're talking about how many millions of people are voting and all this information is coming in and they got to sort it out. You're going to have some mistakes. There's no way around it. But the question is, does it overall balance out? Or are the mistakes all for one side? If you find out the mistakes are all for Biden, then you're going to go, huh, really? Well, who owns the company that makes the machines? And then how are they financed? And who programmed that? And how are they programmed? Is it possible to fuck with the data? It is possible. Can you show me how to do it? You can do it. So saying anything about the vote, everybody wants to know exactly what happened. I think there's very few people that know exactly what happened.
I know the machines and all that type of shit, but when they take the machines away and they say, okay, we're counting these hand by hand, the results of that have to be official.
Yeah, well, they definitely should be.
I mean, I understand like the machines, but they was like, these mail-in motherfuckers they had to fucking count every vote.
Yeah, it's a matter of how they're recording it, right? You would want to make sure that everybody recorded it accurately. I don't know how they do it, but I would imagine that when I was talking to a guy like Mike Baker, and who's saying that even if there was fraud, there's not enough fraud to overturn it. I would imagine he knows some things.
Yep.
I don't. I'm a moron. So me talking about he won, we all do that. You know, we talk about he won, she won, and there's no way there was fraud, or it was definitely fraud, or I think Trump won by a landslide. Like, people get real connected. They get real connected to who's winning or losing this election, and I get it.
Man, I'm gonna miss Donald Trump, son. Yo, I like.
He's not going anywhere, man.
TV, man, I'm gonna miss him on TV. This motherfucker's TV persona is.
You know what sucks? What sucks that it's
his TV persona is like, he's a TV motherfucker.
It sucks that it's even possible that someone could monkey with an election to the point where you change the outcome. It sucks that that's even a thought that we could get into our head. That's what's one of the crazy things about people. We're so nuts.
But that was
that if we believe in a side, like, people that are good people will do some shady shit to have their candidate win.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's politics.
We're so crazy.
That's politics. Anything goes. Anything goes.
Yeah. So what bothers me, and I do think that Biden won the election, and I do think that, I think there's probably some shenanigans, but I think the result is most likely correct. But it bothers me that there's even a question. It bothers me that anyone would ever think that anyone could, but I think that there's Republicans that think Democrats could do it, and I think there's Democrats that think Republicans can do it. And I think it's going to be real hard to 100% trust the election. That's one of the things that's kind of dangerous about someone going after it. This election is rigged. This election is rigged. When Trump is doing that, he's encouraging people. And, maybe that's a good thing if they are rigged, because maybe they're going to be able to figure out how to stop that from happening in the future. Right. Or maybe it's going to erode people's confidence in the elections. And the more he does it, the more it erodes, and the more it gets dangerous. There's a real argument for that too. But listen, again, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience are now free on Spotify. That's right, they're free. From September 1st to December 1st, they're going to be available everywhere. But after December 1st, they will only be available on Spotify, but they will be free. That includes the video. The video will also be there. It'll also be free. That's all we're asking. Just go download Spotify. Much love. Bye-bye.